Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Comic Book Nerd. And in this first video, we are going to break down the first two episodes of Maul Shadow Lord. Right off the bat, I do want to say I enjoyed the first two episodes of this show. I thought I wouldn't because of how the Clone Wars animation was and how that show was, but this is entirely different from those, and you could easily tell it by the animation style, by how Maul acts. All of this stuff is very important later on in the episode and in the show, but Maul is a little bit of a different character now after being defeated by, of course, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You got his story from the books as well. He's kind of learned from those experiences, and that is where we pick up with him in episode 1. So, without further ado, let us go ahead and break down episode 1 and 2 of Maul Shadow Lord. Hit that sub button, leave a comment down below as we're on the road to Marvel, Star Wars, DC content all the way. So hit that sub button, leave a comment down below so you don't miss out. Without further ado, let us go ahead and hop into this episode 1 and 2 breakdown of Maul Shadow Lord on Disney+. So, episode number 1 opens on the planet Janix, which is a world where the Empire hasn't fully taken control yet. This is important because it again creates the perfect environment for Maul to operate in the shadows, and he wants to rebuild power and strike back against, of course, Order 66. And this time, it's going to be through crime influences instead of direct warfare, where he's kind of learned to climb up the ranks, I guess you would say. Maul, he learns from, of course, his master, and then he takes some of that advice that he gives him. We see that in this episode, and actually doesn't do direct attacks anymore. He kind of goes at his way and only attacks who he needs to attack, and just still kind of focusing on the mission. Early on, we see Mandalorians attempting to capture a droid, but Maul suddenly appears out of nowhere, wipes out the opposition with ease, and then that scene is just reminding us pretty much how dangerous that he actually is. Next, we are introduced to a young Jedi named Devin and her master. They're not thriving, they're surviving. After defying her master when they are talking about food, Devin gets arrested because, again, she kind of views the Jedi's ways differently. This is a key important scene here in the episode. Of course, she kind of views the ways differently, where she's like, hey, I think I should go after what I want. But the Jedi, or her master, is just like, wait patiently, let the other people help you and help you get food. But again, she is not having it, and she just wants it all for herself, kind of just setting up the tension between them later, and hits at her rebellious nature, which will matter later on in the next episode. Then we meet Lawson, a key political figure who communicates with the Empire, specifically Emperor Palpatine and Darth Vader, tying him directly to the aftermath of Order 66. Lawson initially believes another figure is behind a recent attack, but in reality, it's Maul who is manipulating events behind the scenes and eliminating anyone who could expose him. We also see the return of Rook Kast, who is Maul's loyal Mandalorian ally. She questions why Maul just doesn't go after the Chancellor directly, but Maul reveals that he is having visions again, similar to what we saw with him in the Clone Wars, and he believes certain individuals, especially a specific Jedi, will play a major role in his future plans. Now, again, that is important because Maul is revealing to Rook Kast, that he is having visions, and that one of those visions was Devin the Jedi, and he thinks that Devin is actually going to help Maul in his ultimate plan, which is killing Krim. We will talk about Krim in a second, but that is Maul's ultimate plan right now, is to go after Krim in this episode. Meanwhile, Lawson begins piecing things together after seeing a hologram of Maul with a lightsaber, something he hasn't seen since the Clone Wars. He even mentions that, but again, this is an important scene showing things from the past still happen, and it hasn't all been eliminated yet, as Maul is, of course, a very threatening villain, and of course, it's Maul, right? He's one of the most ruthless villains in all the Star Wars. Personally, I cannot wait to see him return in Season 2. We know there's going to be a Season 2, but Maul is one of my favorite Star Wars villains of all time, that's for sure. Even so, he refuses to contact the Empire, knowing that doing so would immediately lead to taking over the planet. In another key moment, Demas and Vario meet, and their encounter turns violent. When Vario surprisingly wins, it catches Maul's attention, and Maul breaks Vario out of prison using his Mandalorians seeing potential in him. Now, I want to stop right there because seeing potential in him really just means he is going to use Vario to get closer to the Pike syndicates and to get closer to Vrim. If you don't know who, of course, Vrim is, or Krim rather is, he is the leader of the Pike Syndicates. We last saw him in Star Wars The Clone Wars, but he is the leader of the Pike Syndicates, an organization that Maul was once a part of, and now he wants to destroy them because A, I believe they kicked him out of it, and B, he wants to take full control of their criminal underworld. That, again, just sets up it sets up a lot, and it has a lot of power to it when you are the leader of them, because you get things like the spice, you get things like credit, all of that stuff, and that is pretty much where we end in episode 1, as that is just setting up the main conflict, right? Maul is trying to figure out where Krim is. Vario tells Maul, or agrees to tell Maul where, of course, where the Pike syndicates are, where they're taking off, where all of the supplies and stuff is, and that is where episode number 1 ends. But episode 2 picks up immediately where we left off, with Devin and Vario being broken out of prison. There are some quick action moments, including Devin's master attempt to kill Maul by collapsing a bridge on him, but Maul barely even reacts, showing how powerful he really is. Now, I do want to mention that in the opening scene, I guess, of episode 2, it's really of Devin's master who is trying to attack Maul and stop him from getting out of prison. But again, it just makes a lot of sense that Maul wouldn't even react to this, because he has learned from his previous encounters that he doesn't need to go after them directly. The next day, Lawson continues investigating. He's still being urged to contact the Empire, but refuses. It's pretty clear why. He knows the moment he does, the Empire will fully take over Janix completely. That is the most important scene of this show, right? This is what Order 66 is all about. The Empire taking control of these planets. Sorry, guys, if you heard a dog in the background, that was my dog, of course, barking while we are doing this breakdown. Ignore it. Let's just move on with the next episode, or with the rest of the episode, rather. Meanwhile, Maul meets Vario and pressures him into revealing Pike Syndicate's shipment routes. We talked about this earlier. As an exchange, Maul offers to let him live. Out of fear, Vario agrees, showing how important and how powerful he is without even needing to fight. Lawson continues digging up deeper into Maul, which feels like it's setting up his downfall soon. The more he learns, the more dangerous his position becomes. But the most important scene comes at the end. Maul is sitting down with Devin and begins to break down her beliefs as a Jedi. He tells her the truth about the galaxy, that no one is coming to save her, and he gives her the option to leave, but doesn't actually open the door. And instead, Devin realizes what he's doing and uses the Force to open it herself. And just like that, Maul begins kind of his training with her, and that is where we end episode number 2. So there we have it. That is a big moment in the series going forward. I think Devin is going to start to work with Maul, and I think it's going to be kind of Maul's accomplished, I guess you would say, where she is going to do stuff that she could do with the Force that Maul cannot, and that is going to be very powerful for Maul when it comes to gaining access to the criminal underworld, when it comes to, of course, climbing up the ranks as well in battles and stuff like that. Very important. Maul is going to be training Devin, and I think that Devin, at the end of season 2 or 3, however many seasons that we get, is going to turn her back on Maul, and then, of course, she is going to take Maul's place, and we will get kind of a Jedi along with a saber type of thing in, of course, the future of Star Wars as well. But by the end of this first season, we do know that the Order is going to come. Of course, that the Order 66 is going to come, because we've seen it in the trailers, right? Where things of that, like starships are coming. Obviously, I do believe at the end, Darth Vader is going to show up and have a face-to-face showdown with Maul. I think that is going to set up, of course, Emperor Palpatine to come back into play here in this, or in the next season, in season 2. I don't know where we are on the Star Wars timeline. I saw something where it said this show is 27 years or so set into the future. But I do think that Darth Vader is going to show up at the end of this show and kind of leeway everything into on the right path of the timeline. Again, keep in mind this is kind of what George Lucas wanted as well when it comes to the original Star Wars trilogy, as Lucasfilm and Disney kind of went with the whole Rey, The Force Awakens saga, but it looks like we're going to get some adaptation of that in, of course, Maul Shadow Lord. But you guys, again, let me know your thoughts on episode number 1 and 2 in the comments down below. Very short episodes, 30, 20 minutes a piece. Really enjoyed them. Loved the vibe of it. Love Maul as a villain personally. I cannot wait for episodes 3 and 4, which are next week. And we're getting 2 a week. So I believe that's only like 5 or 6 weeks on Disney Plus, which is, again, kind of what you want to see. You want the stuff to move quickly, but you just don't want to drag it out a lot as well. But like I said, you guys let me know your thoughts on this in the comments down below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, turn that bell on, as we do our best to post on this channel every single day. Coming up later today, we have some X-Men news to go over, as well as it is also Daredevil Born Again Season 2, episode number 4 release date as well. We'll have a breakdown on that tomorrow. Hit that sub button though, leave a comment down below so you don't miss out on any of the latest videos. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Peace.